Welcome to Behind the Business, the podcast where we cut through the noise and get real about running a profitable business. I'm Pamela Hilton, CPA, with over 30 years in accounting, tax, payroll, and business advisory services. Each week, I will share stories from the field, answering real questions from business owners, and give you the straight talk you need to grow and protect your business. No fluff, no hype, just practical advice that works in the real world. So, let's get to it. Welcome back to Behind the Business. If you're a business owner and financial freedom is your goal, why is it then that you are always stuck in survival mode? We're going to be going over this and some real life examples of how to get out of survival mode if you're a business owner. So most business owners I talk to got into the business because they had a passion for what they do as a craft, and they wanted financial freedom as the end game. They want more money, more flexibility. They didn't want to work for somebody else. But here's the uncomfortable question. If financial freedom is the end game for everybody, why are so many business owners spending all of their time buried in their business, in the grind of their business every day, instead of learning how to build actual wealth and use that business as the tool to build that wealth? We're going to get into that today, the pitfalls of how these business owners kind of fall into that, and some examples of how to dig yourself out of that and the mindset you have to shift. Okay, so buckle in, and if you know other business owners who are in that daily grind like so many of them are, share this podcast with them, okay? So, the trap most business owners fall into. So, you have this passion, you have this hobby, you've started this business, you're finding success, your revenues are increasing, but that means that the responsibilities are increasing as well, right? You're finding success, you're selling your product or services, things are getting a little bit more stressful, and the responsibilities are getting equally as stressful. The business grows, but then you fall into this trap where you've got all of the responsibilities and the time increases and you're doing all the things, but you've never really learned to do the books. You don't have systems in place. You don't have a handle on all of the paperwork. Nobody's really showed you how to do all of the accounting, and they told you how, go sign up for QuickBooks, but you don't really know how to use the QuickBooks. They told you just to link the account and the QuickBooks will do all the rest, but is it really doing all the rest? And you don't really have an accountant, and the guy who does your taxes doesn't really do businesses. So you're just kind of winging a lot of the stuff because you haven't really been shown how to do all this stuff. So what you've done is you fall into this trap that lots of business owners have fallen into, and you've become a reactive business owner. You're just putting out all of these little fires that you didn't know were coming, you didn't see coming, and you're putting out all these little fires as they come. And it's not a fun place to be in, and it's really hard to get a hold of all these fires because you don't know they're coming. You don't know you're just reacting. And you're making all of these decisions in reactive mode. You don't have any long-term strategy because it's hard to get caught up when you're in that mode. And the way you're paying yourself is because you don't have any financial strategy, you're just looking at the bank account. And because you don't have any accounting system, you've just either got the spreadsheet still going or you've signed up for some software that you don't really know how to use yet. You're just really looking at your bank balance and you're just kind of taking what's left over at the end of the week, or you're just kind of taking what's left over at the end of the month. And the only benchmark you're kind of looking at is how much your sales are, which most business owners, that's the only benchmark they use, is revenue. What's my revenue? How much is my sales? So a lot of business owners, what they've then created is a job with overhead. You haven't really created a business. You've just created this very stressful job
and not a wealth building tool or machine. It's just a very crazy, stressful, chaotic job. So why does this happen? So most business owners are really, really good at their craft. They're very passionate about it. They're very good at what they do, but they haven't learned the other systems that go into building a business, because there is no manual. There's really no great courses out there that educate people on how to be a great business owner. And so that's what they do. They're really great at their craft, and that's what they do. But nobody teaches you how to be a great salesman. And anybody who is a business owner, I don't care what you're doing or what industry you're in, you have to know how to sell yourself or your product. You have to be good at sales. You have to be good at marketing. Now, in 2026, you have to be good at social media. You have to be good at IT. You have to know about computers, and you have to have a smartphone or a tablet. You have to know accounting. Sorry, you have to be good with numbers. If you hate numbers, you have to know a little bit about it. You have to know a little bit of accounting. You have to know about operations, and especially if you're selling a product, you have to know how to buy the product and manufacture or turn the product around and have inventory. You even have to know about profit and taxes and compensation and payroll and financial systems. So all of those things, they're all intertwined. They are all very much layered and work together. And almost no one out there teaches all of those things together for you. And it's very complicated, it's very overwhelming, and you have to know all of them. And you don't have to be proficient in all of them as a business owner, but you have to know a little bit about all of those things. You have to be aware that all of those things impact your business in one way or another. And you have to be able to hire somebody to do all of those things for your business so that you can run your business efficiently. And that when you delegate those things for your business, you can then assume responsibility and oversight so that you know that these things are running efficiently and in the best interest for your business. So you know how to make the money, which is a good thing, but you have to know that behind the scenes, all of these things are going on while you're making the money for the business, and that things are running smoothly, and that the structure for those things, the marketing, the sales, the IT, the accounting, the social media, are all running, doing their thing cohesively within your system for the business, and doing their part within your little business ecosystem so that you're making money. And it's all doing, and it's filtering, and it's all the systems are running within each other, and then they're all talking to each other, and all the money coming in from the revenue is going through the accounting system properly. And the difference between you, the business owner, being busy within your system, within your business, and being busy and financially free, you can see the difference between those two. You're not busy being chaotically busy. You're being busy overseeing and being financially free. Because there's a big difference between busy and overwhelmed and busy overseeing and being financially free. And we want to be the second one, right? So here are 5 different ways we can start building smarter for our business and being the second one, busy being financially free instead of busy being reactive and chaotic in our business. Because that's no fun, because that creates burnout. So number 1, start paying attention to profit and not revenue, because revenue and profit are 2 very different things. Revenue starts at the top. Revenue is sales when they come in the door, and profit is down the bottom after we subtract all of our expenses. So revenue is a vanity measure. Everyone talks about revenue. I'm a 7-figure earner. I'm a 6-figure earner. I'm a 7, 8-figure earner. revenue doesn't create wealth. Financial freedom starts with how much you keep. So it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. You can make 7 figures and keep none of it because it's all going out as expenses. It's all it costs that much to make 7 figures. You can make 6 figures and you're keeping it all. You can be a service-based industry and you make 6 figures and you pay that all to yourself. You can have a product-based 7-figure business and your cost to make that product is all of it and you keep none of it. So it's what you keep. It's not how much the revenue is. It's how much of that revenue you're keeping and you'll be able to compensate yourself and pay yourself. So there are very strategic ways to structure and manage your business to dramatically increase how profitable you are and how much of that you can take as compensation to yourself. Okay? So paying attention to profit and how you can take that revenue and compensate yourself. That's a big one. Stop taking what's left over as personal income. Paying yourself first. So that's kind of plays on the first one as well. So being consistent in paying yourself, not just taking what's left over at the end of the month. Shifting to being intentional in paying yourself and putting yourself first. Structuring your owner compensation in different ways. There's many different ways to compensate yourself other than payroll, and we teach this to clients. Yes, payroll is a very effective way to pay yourself, but there's many different ways to pay yourself in a business. Number 3, learn how to use tax strategy as a wealth tool. Many people think that tax strategy is just about taxes, and yes, it is, but it is not as well. So tax strategy can be used, and it's not just tax strategy can be used as a way to manage cash flow, and it's not just about 1 year. Really good tax strategy is about planning for taxes for many years. A good tax strategy will span multiple years, and it will integrate compensation planning and cash flow planning and your business taxes and your personal taxes, and there's lots of layers to it, and it depends on many, many different things. So tax planning isn't just about buying a big pieces of equipment at the end of the year. There's lots of things involved, and it's about transferring the wealth of your business to you personally, as well as paying less taxes. And that's what we teach with our tax planning. It's not just for, tax planning isn't just for big businesses, it's for everybody. Number 4, build systems that remove daily chaos from your life. So this is a big thing. You want to create, financial freedom isn't just about money, it's about time as well. So you want to remove chaos and delegate more. And with delegating more, it's going to create more time and financial freedom for you. And when we have advisory sessions with clients, we teach them how to delegate. Because if you're spending all the time on administrative stuff, you're just a very, very high-priced admin person in your own business. So what is the cost of you doing all the things? What is that costing you emotionally, financially for your business? If your business can't survive without you taking a day off, that speaks volumes about what's going on in your own business, right? So you can't create financial freedom for yourself and for your family if you are working 7 days a week in your business and you can't take a day off. And if you are involved in every single aspect of your business. And I get it. Most of us, if not all of us, have started as a solopreneur in our business. We've built these things from the ground up by ourselves, from scratch, our blood, sweat, and tears in our business. And it's very hard to let go of our business. So I get that it's hard to delegate some of these things when we're first starting out. But like I said at the start of the podcast, the end game is financial freedom. And we are very emotionally tied to our business, yes, but the business, when it's all said and done, is supposed to be the tool to get us to the financial freedom. So we have to use the business as the tool, and we can't do that if we're doing all the things. So ultimately, we have to have that mindset shift that we're going to have to delegate some of these things and let go. We'll have to let go. So the exercise I have my clients do is, let's let go of some of these little baby steps. We'll take a baby step and we will let go of some of these things we really don't like doing anyway, the tasks we don't like doing first. And then when we start releasing some of these tasks, some of those other tasks we'll eventually start letting go of. But start with the tasks you don't like to do first, and then the other ones, little by little, you'll start delegating more. But if you have to start there, or else you'll always be you'll be 60 years old, ready to retire, and then you will have nobody to delegate to. Okay? So number 5, think like an owner, not just an operator. Okay? Owners focus on daily activity, just the day or the week. What's going on today? What's going on this week? What do we have going on? The owner focuses on the bigger picture. They're able to step back comprehensively what's going on. They're goal-oriented, strategy, growth, long-term. What do we have quarterly, annually, bigger picture? And this goes along with number 4 in delegating. Owners are working bigger picture, stepping back. They are more focused on decision making, planning ahead, setting goals for the whole year, not just daily, weekly, monthly. They are way strategizing far in advance. Okay? Business owners who create financial freedom stop asking, how do I work harder, and start asking, how do I build smarter? Don't be afraid to ask, how can I work less? Here at the firm, during off season, we either do work from home Friday or we just have Fridays off. That's the goal, is to work. How can we work a little bit less? How can we structure things to work a little bit less? How can we structure our day? How can we structure our time? How can we structure our meetings? How can we be more efficient, right? How can we set up the year? So you have to think in broader terms as an owner. How can we work a little bit? How can we keep the growth and still work less? Okay? So what are the reasons many business owners kind of stay stuck? And you have to kind of go a little bit deeper here. And revenue is not wealth. Revenue is just the sales coming in the door. That's just the start. Remember, revenue is the money coming in the door minus expenses, and then you have the profit. How active you are, how busy you are is not a strategy. Your day, how busy you are during the week is not a strategy. If the business owners that I talk to, oh, I'm so busy this week. Oh, I can't have lunch. I'm too busy. Those are the business owners. That to me does not strike me as a successful business owner. That to me speaks volumes of a business owner that can't delegate, is a reactive business owner that's always putting out fires, and who desperately needs to listen to this episode of the podcast. Exhaustion is not success. It's not success. And it leads to burnout. And it's somebody who can't delegate. Okay? So a lot of business owners are chasing that income, chasing the revenue, but aren't taking the compensation and building wealth. And they're probably paying more in taxes than they should. And they probably have very poor cash flow because they're not using that revenue that's coming in from the top they're not using the cash flow properly, paying more in taxes, not using the strategy the way they should, and not compensating their employees and themselves properly. And they're always in reactive mode. And their business is probably very stagnant. Okay? If financial freedom is the end game, as it should be, it's the goal, then you have to shift your mindset from simply running your business to using your business as the tool to build wealth. Okay? So you have to shift that level of thinking to using it as your wealth building tool. Okay? So I'm going to invite you to share this podcast with another business owner who's grinding away in their business. I'm sure you know one because we all know one. I'm sure you were thinking of one when you were listening to this podcast. So share this podcast with somebody who you think needs to hear this. Also, you can find my website and apply to work with us. We do all kinds of advisory for business owners just like you who might be stuck in the financial grind and don't know how to build wealth through your business. Please share and subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Behind the Business.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Business. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with another business owner who could use some real world advice. For free resources, tools, and to submit your own business questions, head on over to my website, PamelaHiltonCPA.com. Until next time, keep building smart and keep looking behind the business.